Hello and welcome to In Stitches. A local charity shop has asked me to go through this box of accessories and just have a little sort through. They were donated a whole bunch of sewing machines and these accessories from a local collector. Now, I'm not going to highly edit this video, so just bear that in mind. The editing does take a considerable amount of time, so we'll just get in, make a start. I'll sort out the bits and pieces down onto this little area here. Okay, first of all, we've got it's actually an old school lunchbox from, I would say, probably the 70s. Could be even earlier, not sure. But anyway, we've got a Singer buttonhole attachment here with the requisite plate and the requisite long screw that's required to attach for the presser foot. And we've got just a couple of loose bobbin cases. I think I'll put all the bobbin cases together in a pile. We've got the knock-in metal spool pin for the Singer machines. They're always quite handy. You can still buy those new. And some of the old school Singer grease. So that's always handy. You can buy reproduction Singer lubricant. This lubricant here is required for lubricating the motor and bearings, on the old Singers. They have a special consistency really to make sure that they don't they don't become too viscous as such and contaminate the electrics in the motor. So, specially formulated grease there. And that's also used in some of the older machines for greasing the gears, the metal meshing gears. So pretty handy to have. I'll put that out as a separate. I mean, it's seen better days. That there's seen better days, But that's probably still usable. That lubricant there, So we'll put that aside there, and we'll just stash that back in there as a reasonably complete, I think, apart from the box and the instruction manual, little zigzagger there. So that's pretty handy. They can go ahead and sell that. So all of this will be going into their shop for sale on the shop floor. Well, all the useful stuff anyway. That's an extension table, I would say, for a Globe. Is it 877 model? Looks like it could be. So that's that one. That looks almost like Husqvarna, but no, I think it's got these little latches. These little latches here. That could be Globe as well. I'm not 100% sure. Bernina magnetic bobbin holder. Pretty handy. Miscellaneous box of cleaning brushes, screwdrivers, unpicker, quite handy for someone who's looking to maintain their machine, handy little screwdrivers and cleaning brushes, bits and pieces. Sucrets, antiseptic throat lozenges. Bobbin cases, always quite handy. Quite handy to keep, even just for spare parts, even if the bobbin cases are no good. The little screw here, that's quite handy to save, or to keep the bobbin case so that you've got a spare screw and a spare spring, always quite handy. Looks like they've actually got original bobbins too. That's a Singer bobbin, so I would say No, that's not the right bobbin for this bobbin case. See, it's too deep in there. So yeah, bunch of bobbin cases. I'll keep all the bobbin cases in this little pile here. Bobbins. So I'll go through and sort. They like to, package their bobbins up into little packets like this. So, we want to have the same type of bobbin in each packet. And I would say, that they're all the same style, I would say. Someone's put a note there to say they're Bernina, and they're the same as these here. Bernina, I would say copies, they're not the original Bernina bobbins. If I come across a original Bernina bobbin, I'll show you how you can tell. Needles, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't trust needles, that have just come in a random packet like this, because you never know whether the needles have been used and whether they're damaged. And especially if you're having trouble with your machine, the last thing you want to do is put in a bad needle. But if you know your machine's working well, and you just do a bit of a visual inspection, that's a twin needle, that one there. Make sure the points, they're not blunt. Make sure that the needles aren't bent, things like that. You're probably fairly safe to use them as long as you know your machine's going well. But I would be wary of using random needles like that. Some of the packaging's, quite interesting as well. That's, made in Great Britain. That's British made Singer needles. Quite neat. So I'll put the needles in these. Jeepers, what's that? Oh, that's chalk. Tailor's chalk. Quite handy. So I'll make a little pile of sort of, what you call that, sort of haberdashery, I guess. And there's some more bobbins here. These are generic sort of, plastic drop-in style bobbins. Brother, yeah, definitely Brother accessories. More needles. Empty pack, one needle. That's the little feed dog cover for a Brother. So that's used in lieu of drop feed. Buttonhole foot, and there's a zip foot, otherwise known as a zipper foot. We call them zip feet here. There's a button sewing foot. So yeah, we call zips. Yeah, we call zips. We call zippers zips. They feel like bulbs, so without unwrapping them and actually testing them, we won't know if they're any good. Actually, we can do a quick test here. Just test that the filaments are still good. So if we just go onto ohms mode there, if I touch the two wires together, we'll get a reading of 0.2 ohms, and that's just the resistance in the wires back to the meter. Right, and so you just one on the terminal there and one to there, and just onto the end like that, and we're getting 284 ohms. These are a 240 volt bulb at 15 watts. So if you use your Ohm's law, you can figure it out. But it's that's a good bulb. So as long as you're getting 200 and something. There's a nice long screw-in type, pretty handy. $280, somewhere thereabouts. Screw-in, Edison screw-in type. Pretty handy. You know, that looks like a reasonable quality bulb, and that's something that is getting harder to find. You know, few and far between good quality bulbs. A lot of the bulbs that I see these days are extremely cheap and nasty, and they are very fragile. So if you can, you know, keep a little stash of sort of old school bulbs, it's always handy. If you know, for whatever machine you've got, of course, there's quite a few different types of bulbs available. Let's quickly wrap that up. But I would say that the person who's put these in have tested these. I'm wondering if it's actually probably a better idea to just leave them unwrapped so that people can see them. I'll put them into a bag of some sort, sort of protect them a little bit. There's another one here. That's a frosted style. That is probably a Riva. Yeah, it is. It's a Riva brand. You know, so you know that that's going to be good quality, made in Germany. Good quality. Now, this is a bayonet style, so you've got two terminals here. You don't put the probe on the outside there. You just one on each of these terminals here, like that. We're getting 334, so that's probably, well, that's actually a 15 watt bulb as well. So there will be slight variances, but as long as you're not getting, you know, close to zero, you know that the filament's good. 330. So that's a good one. I would say they've probably been tested. There's another screw-in style. $300. Yep, it's good. Okay, I would say Singer attachments. Feet. There's a little, what is that? It's like a little marking device for marking, so you can sew parallel lines, and there's a hemming attachment in there. So Singer attachments. I'll go through and mark them. Now we've got Elna bobbins, so for likes of your Elna SU Star Series, your Lotus type machines, Air Electronics, things like that. And the quick and easy way to tell an Elna bobbin, generally, as a rule of thumb, not always, but generally they'll have holes one side, no holes the other. It's a fair giveaway that that's an Elna bobbin. Buttonhole feet for Globe, I would say, mainly Globe. Buttonhole feet. This is also Globe. Globe accessories, probably for a Globe Cub or something. Yeah, Cub 3. Questionable looking quality needles. The bobbin case, bobbin. I mean, for someone who's looking for bits and pieces for their Globe, it's perfect. You know, presser feet, few screwdriver tools, bits and pieces like that. So Globe Cub, and foot controller for, I would say, the Globe Cub as well. Pretty obvious it's Globe, right? So, I mean, pretty handy. It's one of those things, you know, you walk into an op shop, or, you know, what we call an op shop or a thrift store, and you just never know what you're going to get. If you own a Globe and if you lost the foot controller and whatnot, you walk into the thrift store and there's one sitting there, you know. That's all part of the thrill of, you know, shopping thrift stores. You never know what you're going to get. These just random, there's a couple of Elna Alnagraph cams in here. So again, for your SU Star Series and other models, little pattern cams. Always handy. I can see Elna accessories in here, so we'll just pop them in there. And here's, this is a typical Elna accessory box for an Elna SU. Again, it's a Star Series, accessory tray. Your bobbins, there's little spindles here for your bobbins to sit on. Normally, you'd have a bunch of feet and bits and pieces, which are missing here. That's not Elna. You've also got space for more bobbins down here. You've got, these are the mounting screws. I've done a video on this actually. These are the little mounting screws or transportation screws. So the Elna SU sits into a metal case, and then if you're going to transport it, you screw these up from underneath in the base, and it holds the machine steady inside the case. And so there's no need for any packaging or anything like that inside the case. It could be quite safely shipped. It's very nice for that. These are all, the pattern cams for Elna SU Star Series. So we might as well just put those in with those, and that's Elna. Oil. Spool keeper. Always handy to have a bunch of spool keepers for if you're like me and you're servicing machines. These are always handy to have. Needles, look, these are Pfaff branded needles, probably made by Smets, I would say. They've just got that packaging is very Smets like this. Rhine needle, different brand again. Universal 130705. 130705, just universals. Bernina 705 size 60 needles, or size 8 imperial, super fine. The 705Bs are getting harder and harder to find, so they will suit, like your 700 series Berninas, the older sort of 1980s machines and earlier. So, pretty handy. There's more Pfaff branded needles. Smets rebranded, I would say. Actually, you might be able to read on the shank whether that's Smets or not. Pretty sure it says Smets. Yep, definitely. Size 75. PS, Pfaff stretch. So it's interesting they're actually making, specific needles for Pfaff there. Little twin needle, probably from a brother machine. That's the old school Pfaff branding there. Sorry, the Smets branding. Pretty cool. And they've got these little magnified tops. They don't do this anymore. And look, this is all nicely hinged, So, the packaging alone was high quality. These days you get, let me see if I've got a packet of needles here somewhere. This is the modern Smets packaging here. You basically just slide that plastic cover down, and then this here, folds back so that you can easily grab a needle. And so quite different to this, a lot cheaper to produce, I would say, than this, with its lovely little magnified window at the top there. Pretty neat. Questionable, I would say, universals. Yeah, I'd be a bit wary. Anything that's name branded, like Smets, Singer, Bernina, Pfaff, Rheinadel, anything like that, I would say you're probably fairly safe to use as long as you, check the needles before you go throwing them in your machine. Definitely don't use, as I said before, don't use second-hand needles coming out of a second-hand packet if you're having trouble with your machine. The first rule of sewing machine troubleshooting is make sure you have a brand new needle out of a brand new packet, not recycled. Because, if you've got a faulty needle and, you might think that the machine's faulty, but it's not, just the needle. That is probably a modernish, well, when I say modern, newer than 40 years old, Pfaff bobbin, I would say. Another button sewing foot, I would say these are probably Burnett or something like that, a specific type of Burnett. This looks like Singer, judging by the screwdriver, Singer there. These are quite handy for someone who's making up a machine, with all the accessories and bits and pieces, and they want the period appropriate screwdriver for their machine. There's one right there. So yeah, go and support your local charity shops. You never know what you might find. Oh, bottle brush, tiny little bottle brush. More, I would say, Singer feet. Not 100% sure actually. Yeah, it's one of those things you'd have to try them on your machine to see whether they fit properly. It's hard to say what they're from. Just random bits and pieces, feet. I'll put all the sort of random type stuff in. They might not want to bother selling all the sort of random feet. People kind of like to know. People like to know exactly what they're getting. This one here says Fit Singer Sewing Machine, so we know more than likely it's going to be Singer. Singer, what model? 5910 model. Yep, and accessories to go with it. Singer bobbins. But yeah, that's the right ones for that machine. It's interesting. More needles. Look at that. What's that? Could that be ivory, do you think? It's got that feel of ivory. I'm not even sure what that would be used for. I'm not sure whether they're allowed to sell ivory. I'll put that aside. Not that it really matters. I mean, it's done for now, isn't it? But I think trading in ivory is sort of frowned upon. That, not sure exactly. That almost looks like industrial. Yeah, I'll put that in the random accessories. Okay, what does this say? Christmas fund. Oh, these are definitely Elna SU. So Star Series, that will probably go into here. So we've got zip foot there. This is the buttonhole foot. That one there. Oops. Buttonhole foot. That's your zigzag, satin stitching foot, free motion foot, and a roller foot for, sort of not woven, knitted materials, etc. Sort of heavy knits and things like that, or leather even, so yeah, so they can just go in there because I know exactly what that's for. So as much sort of consolidation as we can do, the better. A cleat, I don't think that's sewing machine related, although it's probably for like curtains or something, right? Blinds. Put that back in there. Singer. Okay. We've got a side cutter here. So the way these work is that attaches to your foot presser bar there. This goes over your needle, your needle clamp screw. So your needle's going up and down, and it drives this little blade here up and down, and it cuts a little bit like an overlocker. So you can actually convert your sewing machine to an overlocker, your zigzag type machine, and you might just zigzag along with this trimming away. Not sure exactly what sort of machine it would be for. Laurie's needle, DMC. Look at that. Packaged. Little packet needle. Super quality. That I would say possibly Globe or something, maybe. Not 100% sure about that, but I'll put that all back in here because that's where it came from. Yeah, the little side cutter could be interesting. Needles, more needles. These organ needles, pretty good, can't really go wrong. Random selection of needles, another sort of random. These are branded to a point. Henry Millward and Sons, Warwickshire, England, made in Belgium. Class, I still see these sold today. More 705B Bernina needles. Needles that came with a globe, by the look of the branding there. Random, who knows what, probably came with a brother. And again, random needles. This is just a massive bunch of random parts, I would say. There's a bit of Singer in here. There's a ruffler. Jeez, all sorts. That's Singer buttonhole foot, I think. Is it Singer? Looks like it could be, but then again, might not be. There's another one of these marking devices. So the way that works is that attaches to your presser bar. When you this is actually a presser foot as such, and the needle bar pops this down every stitch, and your fabric's running through here, and this here marks the fabric, so you can have a parallel marking, so that you can do parallel stitches for like quilting, things like that. Pretty handy. That's the ruffler. I won't go into how rufflers work today, but should do a video on them one day. Pretty neat. The Singer stuff I should probably just put all in one. The stuff that I know is all Singer. Let's consolidate some of this. So that's Singer. But yeah, just miscellaneous feet. Accessories. You might hear a bit of background noise, aircraft and whatnot. My camera is showing a thermal temperature overload. I'm just waiting until it dies and then I'll let it cool down. It's pretty warm here today, so I've got the windows open. Yeah, I'll just chuck all that back in there. Random guff, more Singer. Oh, bobbins. Okay, let's start sorting a few bobbins. And so you'll see there's quite a few different types, right? We've got these standard, I think someone had listed those as Bernina bobbins, but they're sort of a generic Bernina type bobbin. You can see that one's bent. That's rubbish. So they match these ones. So if I just pop those into that bag, 10 hole, these ones here. Yeah, we have an airport pretty close, a training airport, so there's lots of Cessnas flying around, which are the ones that you can hear in the background there. Hole. And so there's a whole lot of different bobbins for different machines, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand that, and it's really important, you know, to know that you can't just walk in to a shop and just say, oh, I want a bobbin for my machine, and they turn around and just give you maybe the common style bobbin or something like that. And if it's an older Singer or something like that, these common plastic drop-in style bobbins don't work in them, and that's a big problem I see, is people turning up with the incorrect bobbins in their machines. There is an original Bernina bobbin, and you can tell it's got BB stamped on it there. Now these ones here, these have 7 holes in them. So we'll put those into a separate bag. Now, these are class 66 Singer bobbins. You can identify them because of this convex surface on the top here, slightly curved there. These are old school, sort of high quality Singer bobbin. There's another one there. So rather than having, you know, straight top and bottom, flat, they're convex. That's another Singer one, just looks slightly different, but again, it's convex on top there and bottom. That, I would say, could be like FAF or something like that. It's quite narrow compared to, you know, your Bernina bobbin. Quite narrow. That looks like Burnett or something like that, a specific Burnett model. Singer, 7 holes. Then we've got our, you know, automatic in-place winding bobbins, Singer. You can still buy them. Elna. Old school kilt pin. Big chunky kilt pin. Some sort of guide that you attach, I would say, to the bed of your machine with this screw here, and then you can slide that across, and you've got a guide on the edge here. You know, could be handy. This is Brother XL4030, so, you know, I'll just keep that in its bag. Little darning hoop, I would say could be Bernina, something like that. Singer accessories or not. These are little spool keepers for overlockers. or serges. Spool keepers, probably more spool keepers, and more Elna pattern cams. That one. Oh, some of them aren't Elna. Some of them are Singer. So we've got 2 Elna, those ones, and we've got Singer pattern cams here, and an empty box Singer for Singer accessories. Not sure exactly what model that would be for. Singer bobbin case, Singer Elna, and we've got different Singer bobbins here. I would say they will be like sort of featherweight type Singer bobbins. Singer screwdriver. Sorry about neighbour's dog. Little yapper. Couple of Singer screwdrivers. I think they're reasonably sought after. Handy. Actually, I'll put those in here. Screwdrivers. This is another good quality bulb. It's a Japanese made one, so you know it's going to be good. Really nice copper terminals on the bottom. Ultra high quality. 338. That one's good. Normally I would just chuck the whole lot into a big box somewhere, you know, and sort it out at some stage. It's quite time consuming doing this sort of thing, but yeah, this is interesting. This is it looks like a bent needle, and it is, but that's just the way it is. That'll be for a bag closing machine, so quite often they, you know, the needle action's more like on an arm, you know, like that. So you get this sort of motion here, and that's why they're bent like that. It's just the way they, with the arm, they arc through like that. Different, probably no use to anyone. Allen key, put that in the tools department there. Lubricant, I'd say just bin. Oh, that's probably got oil in it. Yeah, sewing machine oil. I thought it was glue. I would probably just I'll just tip that out into my recycled oil tin, because there's just danger that that's going to spill and cause a big mess. Buttonhole attachment, very specialised, you know, specific to a machine, I would say, a specific model. But just don't know what. Another little ruffler. Bobbins. I would say old school Bernina. At a guess. Random bunch of attachments and bits. I mean, Singer throat plates, bulldog clip, screws, wood screws. Oh, look at this. What's that? Queen Elizabeth II, Cook Islands coin. I'll get you a close look in a second. 1992, Cook Islands coin. Look at the shape. $2. Any coin collectors out there? Pretty cool. The rest of it can just, in fact, I think what I'll do is I'll tip all the random stuff into this container. That. It's the type of thing as a sort of hoarder / sewing machine mechanic, quite good to have hanging around. You know, you could sort it into, you know, feet. attachments, things like that. You know, get rid of all the detritus like the bulldog clip and stuff like that. And quite handy to have as a little stash of bits and pieces. Okay, back after my camera overheated. Had to wait for it to cool down. So let's crack on here. Little box of bobbins. Empty brother accessory tray. I guess the little accessory trays are quite handy, aren't they? Yeah, just detritus really. Buttons. These here are, you know, kind of handy. Little felt pads for the spools. Little button sewing foot and a little hemming foot of some sort. Cleaning brush. Nothing too exciting. That I will just chuck into the big pile of bits down here. Just like that. There's a Singer one here. Some cams. Cams for Singer. Flexi stitch cams. And a couple of throat plates. So I'll leave that as it is there. Globe, I think, again. Globe bits and pieces. Looks like curtain hooks and safety pins. You know, I guess someone might find those useful. Little needle threader, bobbin case, shuttle. Yeah, more globe, I think that is. Got a faff tin here. That actually looks like Singer, I would say. Some of this here might be faff, I'm not 100% sure. Some of it's not as well. So yeah, just all sorts of bits and pieces in there, I think. Not specifically faff, but you know, for someone who's looking for a accessory tin, could be quite handy. Faff Creative accessories, bobbins, some needles. Yeah, you know, pretty handy to have if you're after accessories for a Faff Creative, but otherwise not very useful. So that's it. That is the mess now that I have to clean up. I'll just go and sort them all into sort of, you know, I might even use some of these accessory trays just to, you know, put all the needles in one and accessories in another and bobbins in another, you know. I'll go through, sort it out, might make it a bit easier for them to sell it if it's roughly sort of categorised anyway. Yeah, nothing too exciting today, but I thought that maybe you'd just like to watch me go through the process of sorting some of the stuff out, the sort of stuff that the op shops come across and get donated. Yeah, I'll be taking this into them next week at some stage so they can get it out on the floor. Thank you as always to my supporters on Patreon, and thank you very much for watching.